Thank you for tuning in to Koppen Comic. I'm Brian Koppen over at Comic Daisy Bentley. Daisy Bentley, how the hell are you?
I am grand. How are you, Brian?
I am doing so good. I follow her everywhere. Daisy Bentley sucks, although she very clearly does not. On Instagram and TikTok, she is Daisy Bentley sucks. Now tell me why you chose that inaccurate name.
So it was in like ninth grade, I think. Daisy Bentley was already taken, maybe by me on like an old account that I couldn't remember the password for.
That
And
bitch.
I remember
My former
I was
self
like,
is such a
yeah, I
bitch.
know, right? I thought Daisy Bentley sucks like rolled off the tongue and it was funny. And like Kesha at the time, I think her Twitter was like Kesha sucks with like a bunch of X's, and I was like, that's like so me.
Kesha
I
rules. Kesha does
I love
rule.
Kesha. Well, I
Yeah.
share a birthday with her, so I feel connected. I feel connected to her.
Wow.
But yeah, me, Kesha, and Justin Bieber. That's the
Wow.
triplet.
I'll never think of Kesha. I'll never think of Kesha without thinking Daisy Bentley first. But
Good.
on Twitter, I love mids so much. And I
Yes.
had you explain it to me, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. So mids, like, I'm from Ohio, and like I love some shitty homegrown Ohio weed.
Okay.
Like I'm not trying to see God. I'm trying to like eat, eat a tortilla chip and have a laugh, like I just want to watch TV and have a good time. I'm not trying to like go to an alternate dimension. So I do love some good mids, particularly from the Ohio region.
And are you getting that? Are you in Chicago currently? And if so, are you getting
Yeah.
mids in Chicago?
No, I'm getting insanely strong weed
Oh
in
no.
Chicago. And I have
Is it
to,
legal there now?
yes, yeah,
Okay. And so now
it's
it's just
legal
these
here.
dispensaries are opening up and the
It's
edibles are crazy strong. Yeah.
they're crazy. It's very strong. And I don't know. I don't smoke like I used to. Like I just have a little bit like before bed. I used to be like a proper pothead, but I'm not
Yeah.
anymore.
Spoken
But yeah, the weed
like a
here
true Kesha fan, let me tell you.
oh yeah, the weed here is very strong. And so I just have a little bit.
So you just smoke up before you go to bed and say
Yeah.
good night to your cat, Miss Kitty.
Yes, and she's crawling all over me right now. She's very cuddly and she sleeps with me.
Now, is it a fancy cat? Is it one of those long hairs?
She's fancy.
Okay.
Yeah, she has long hair. But she was a street cat, and I thought, okay, so the story of Miss Kitty is my friend found her in college and named her Miss Kitty and then gave her to me, and I was like gonna change her name, but it really suits her. Like she's she's very petite and like fancy, and she's super friendly, and I just thought it worked, and I actually
I'm
ended up
seeing
getting
this
attached.
picture now. Is this like a Maine Coon? That thing is huge.
No, so people actually think that all the time that she weighs 8 pounds.
Okay.
She's so little. Like people when people like have only seen photos of her and then they meet her, they're like, wait, she's so tiny.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's little.
That thing is all hair, but you're right though. Like,
Yeah,
because when I think Miss Kitty, I think of one of these long hairs, and then
yeah,
when you say street
she's
cat, I'm
so
like,
sweet.
no, no. Like, have long hairs
No,
been
yeah,
street cats before?
she was a teen mom on the streets of Athens, Ohio, and she's so
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, actually I have a tattoo of her name.
Okay.
And I'm an actor and she's an actor now. So basically I had an audition a couple months ago, and it was like, okay, like if you have a cat, you can audition for this pet food commercial like with your cat.
Okay.
I was like, fuck yes, of course I'm doing that. She got it and I didn't. And then which is so funny. My little Jean Benet, my little star. Well, she did pay, no, she literally paid my rent in November.
And so was she just hanging
Because
around with some other cat mom, like a tramp?
yeah, absolutely. But we like gave her like catnip spray to like get her to crawl all over this woman. And she did such a good job that she booked a second commercial for a different thing out of it. And
But
I
I
was
love it.
like,
You could like take some comfort in the fact you're like, yeah, she tramped all over some other cat mom, but we had to get her
I
really
know.
high to do it.
Yeah, but she's mommy's little superstar.
But she booked a
I'm
second
getting
one,
her.
huh?
I know, yeah, she booked 2 commercials. And she did such a good job. She's my little child actor. But yeah, I'm getting a little jealous of her, so I'm probably gonna have to push her down the stairs soon.
But I mean, that brings us to one of your topics. I mean, I have the comedians suggest topics and I pick a couple. And the one that caught my eye and might be relevant to your cat is hating on theater kids, even though I am one. And so, like, has anything
Yeah.
changed in Miss Kitty? And why do you hate theater kids? And what
Oh
do you
my
hate about
God. Well,
yourself?
it's really getting to her head, first of all. She's an actor now, so she thinks she can act, she can be a bit of a diva. But no, so I have been doing theater like pretty much my whole life. Like my dad's an actor, so like it was always around. I mean, not a famous actor. Otherwise I wouldn't be working in a restaurant. But
Nepo baby.
I fucking wish. Oh my God. Like if I had that opportunity, I would take it. But yeah, no, I mean, like my parents are both very creative, and like I've always been just creative in general. Like I would have gone to the arts, like into the arts, like one way or another. But I always, I was one of those kids who like did skits in the basement with my sisters and like directed them and stuff, and like was really obsessed with that. And then in high school, I started actually doing the school plays, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of like it. And I was the kid who always played the old woman. So I don't know, I really love, I would say I'm a character actor, always have been, but I'm really proud of my versatility as well. I can do drama, I can do all kinds of shit, and it's a ton of fun. And then I went to college. I have a BFA in acting.
And then I went to college and I met some of these other dipshits.
And then I met some other of these fucking so I've actually been doing this set for the past, I don't know, kind of few months, and it's a really fun set where I have a PowerPoint because I do love a visual aid, and those that's what's really cool about Chicago comedy at the moment is like you can be so creative and do all kinds of non-traditional stand-ups.
Yeah.
Accoutrements, like adding props. I don't know, that might not be the right word, but
I just love accoutrement because that's 40-year-old version.
Yeah, well, I'm a server at a fine dining restaurant, so I just have like my vocabulary is all like accoutrement, elevated, sophisticated. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, we had this black licorice panna cotta on our New Year's Eve prefix, and it was one of the worst things I've ever tasted. It was so disgusting.
Is the restaurant suck, or did it just not?
I don't know. I mean, no, it's good. It's just like it just wasn't our best work. And I'm a pretty adventurous eater too, so I don't know. I digress. So I've been doing this set though, where I have a PowerPoint with photos from my time as a theater kid. Like through high school and college, and I just like have tell stories about like the photos that I'm sharing. And so like, for example, I have this one picture from high school. I was in a play when I was a sophomore in high school called The Seussification of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh no. I
played the noted Shakespearean character of Thing 2. And we had, one of those signs outside of our school with like the big black like block letters. Yeah. And it said Turpin High School presents The Seussification of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And this really popular kid moved the letters around to say Turpin High School presents the most ass. And I thought it was really funny. Like I thought it was hilarious, but like theater kids are very serious.
Yeah.
And everyone was pissed. Like they were all so upset, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And so I just like talk about that. And then like in college, I took this class, like this elective called Improv 101. And one day, all of the students, except for me and one other person, ganged up on our professor to let her know that the material was too hard. And I was like, too hard? Like,
what was it?
The material in question was watching Key and Peele and writing a paragraph about it.
Were you kidding? Or did you really feel like you were getting screwed?
No, they were like, this is so hard. Like the theater kids, like if you make them do like 1 hour of academic work, they will like they'll make like a political statement about it.
So they had a
And
problem with the paragraph. They're like, I'm not writing a paragraph.
no, literally, I was like, you damn liberals.
But you joined in, right?
Like,
you were part of the protest?
Oh no, fuck no. I literally sat there and I was like, it was like me and one other person were like, so basically like they made this kid who's like really like shy be the like the leader of this charge.
Oh gosh, that's even worse.
Which was so bizarre.
Yeah.
They took advantage of him, to be honest, because
no.
I don't think he actually agreed with the message. But he was like, he said, I think I speak for everyone when I say, and I was like, everyone? What? You guys are, I was like, meanwhile, you guys are complaining about watching Key and Peele. Meanwhile, there are literally soldiers fighting for our freedom.
Yeah. But also every other one of your classes was probably rigorous. Were you a theater major? Is it that? Were they theater majors and you were?
Yeah. So it was like all theater kids, like it was like all people I knew in this class. And so like, you know, I went to the library like twice in college. Like we just didn't have a lot of academic, we didn't have like a heavy academic workload. It was all like scene study and like reading plays and like being in plays, which is a lot of hours for sure. So it's challenging in like a different way, but you know, we weren't like taking tests.
So that probably qualifies you for restaurants, because that's really is a lot of hard work. But I mean, it probably didn't prepare you for other things where maybe you need to do a lot of paperwork or something.
Oh yeah, I had a corporate job for 6 months and I got fired. I was literally useless. I hated it. And like, not to be like one of those edgy people who's like, oh, like I'm too like cool for corporate America, but I am. It was literally horrible. I worked for this recruiting agency. And I felt like I was a scammer. Like it was horrible. We had to just call people all day. Like it was all metrics driven. I didn't fit in at all. I knew that it was like not gonna last long for me when my boss's boss, it was like kind of like an open office environment, which was horrible because like I just wanted to like have my headphones in and just like I would like listen to like podcasts and stuff, and then I got in trouble. I was like, but this is so boring. Like I need to like get through this day without listening to you guys fucking talk.
Oh no, open office, you have to hear them talk, and especially if you're calling in a lot of people.
It was so loud, and it was a lot of like men who were like there's this one dude who literally referred to his fiance as ball and chain.
Oh, no.
And I was like, she's probably a lovely woman. Like you are a douchebag. Like you are not a nice guy. And like she's probably actually really cool, and like you suck. But anyway, my boss's boss, who was just like overgrown, like fratty, like workaholic, some lady from another company that we worked with like sent out a message saying that she was taking PTO for her birthday that day, which is great. Like, yeah, use your PTO, celebrate your birthday. Like, that's great. He was like laughing his ass off and like being like, what are you, 7 years old? And I'm like encouraging the whole office to like make fun of her. And like everyone joined in and was like, oh, that's so pathetic. Like taking off work for your birthday.
Did she stay?
No, she was like not even from our company. She was like from some like some so it's fine. But I was just like, yeah. And then my boss was like, I worked on my birthday and I had COVID. And I was like, okay, girl, congratulations. Like you win.
Yeah, thanks for giving everybody COVID. Yeah.
Winner. Well, yeah, it was like, okay, awesome. Congratulations.
But did they email that person from the different company, or did you guys just make fun of her?
They just like made fun of her, and I was like,
internally or on email she was copied on. They didn't make fun of her to her face.
She never not to like her face or like via email or anything.
But I was taking pride in how much you're working. That's bizarre.
I just don't fit it. I don't know. That's just not my like philosophy on work, and I just didn't fit in at all. And like I knew I wasn't gonna last. And I was also literally horrible at the job. Like I put no effort and I just it was just very boring. But yeah, that's okay. Like, you know, I'm glad I tried it. I've had a lot of jobs. Like that's just, I don't know, it's okay. Like I'm a creative person, and I just got to try like different ways to support myself while I'm on this creative journey.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess what's an attribute of a theater kid, and do you notice them in the wild? Like, what about them? Like, if there's an
I do notice
open
them in the
mic, yeah,
wild.
open mic with like 50 people, you can pick out a theater kid and why.
Oh my God. It's just, they're so loud. They're so loud. And it's like, listen, I'm like, don't you have a Jenny's to terrorize with songs? But like ours was TGI Fridays, the place that we terrorized. Like I know the servers when they saw us coming in like old age makeup and like with like tape still stuck to our faces from our microphones, like being loud as fuck.
Yeah.
They're probably like, oh fuck, like none of them are gonna get any alcohol. They're all it's gonna be 25 separate checks.
Yes.
Because this was pre-Venmo.
But like spotting them in the wild now, like an open mic or whatever,
Yeah.
is it like they're very performative and not very funny?
Not
They sell it, but they're
like
selling shitty jokes.
I don't see too many at like open mics. Yeah, I mean it's just the loudness, and then a lot of them are in like fitness pyramid schemes as well.
Yes, pyramid schemes. Yeah,
that's a huge theater kid thing, is like joining like Beachbody.
Why is that? Like, why are theater kids so susceptible to pyramid schemes?
I think like the sense of community that we crave. I'm really obsessed with pyramid schemes. They're kind of like like how some people are obsessed with true crime. I'm really interested. I think they're fascinating. There's this really amazing podcast called The Dream.
Okay.
Season 2 is all about the wellness industry, which is also like ripe with scams.
Yeah.
But season 1 is all about MLM and why they're kind of essential to capitalism in the United States and why they're never going to go away, and like where they came from and how like Reagan like had his grubby little hands kind of in the pockets of Amway.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
So why do you find yourself so interested in that when others are interested in true crime?
I got into it. It's honestly, I don't have like a super like interesting reason like how I got into it. Basically, the summer after I graduated college, which was 2019, I had like a few months off before I moved to Chicago, and I was just like working in a mall and like kind of fucking around, and I would get really violently high every night and go on Reddit, and because I'm a boy, and there was a subreddit. There's a subreddit called Anti-MLM.
Okay.
And it just is filled with these horror stories about pyramid schemes. And I just got really hooked, and it kind of became like my nighttime like wind down.
And do you think, are you feel sorry for these people? Do you think they're suckers? Do you hate the evil people? Or
I actually, so here's my attitude. So ever since I got like inspired by that, it became like my nighttime ritual. And then I was like, I'm a writer as well, and I was like, oh, I should write like a Christopher Guest kind of like documentary about people in small town Ohio who do this.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm working on. Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's been really fun.
When can we expect it? When is it going to post on your socials?
You know what? So I'm gonna do a staged reading sometime this year. I'm getting close to like being able to do that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do a stage reading, hopefully at Bug House, which is one of my favorite theaters here in Chicago. It's a really amazing nonprofit, like improv theater. They have the best shows. Like it's a very warm environment as well. So if you're a comedian, like I highly recommend doing shows there or like going to see shows there. My favorite one to do is Everything Is Fine. It's just a variety show, and it's always good. Like it's always warm, and everyone's really fun and supportive. I just love that environment so much. But I'm hoping to do a staged reading there, like maybe like May would be my goal. I don't have any more details right now. But no, so I just started like listening to podcasts, reading books, and watching like documentaries and like YouTubers who do deep dives into MLMs. And it's really interesting. And I used to like really hate people or just like be like, why the fuck are people still falling for this? Like, I don't really get it. It's very obvious. Like, this has been around for decades. Like, just because you failed at Herbalife doesn't mean that you're going to succeed at Mary Kay. like it actually you're gonna fail. Like most people, like 90, I think it's like 98% of people make like negative money.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's like
I love what you say. Like, why are the theater kids so susceptible? Because the sense of community.
no,
I
but
love
that's
that.
really it. Like that's what I learned. Like when I started like actually researching and like doing these like actually spending time discovering like why people do this. It is because people desire community. And like if you like I learned that from The Dream, that podcast that I mentioned. And
Yeah.
it's also very gendered as well. Like a lot of MLMs are, particularly like essential oil ones, are owned by Mormon women.
Oh, okay.
And if you think about it, like traditional Mormonism in Utah, like they're not working.
Yeah.
The women are not working and they want to do something. And
Yeah.
so that's where these, like, that's why so many women do pyramid schemes. Like,
And I think that's like they kind of glom onto certain communities. I think Landmark uses
absolutely,
like AA programs,
absolutely.
like 12-step
Yep.
programs. Like
Mm-hmm.
Landmark was like, oh, you need to fill up your new free time alcoholics with healthy activities. Let's do
Yeah.
Landmark stuff, and then guilt you when you don't
Right.
set up chairs or recruit 50 people. But we love her so
Right.
much. We're going to get that product. Hopefully she posts it on social. Daisy Bentley sucks, even though she doesn't. That's on Instagram and TikTok. But
Yeah.
on Twitter, it's I love mid so much. And I really think that your next product about MLMs, etc., is going to be a product of you smoking mids, saying goodnight to Miss Kitty, but also winding
Yes.
down with MLMs. Daisy Bentley, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you. This is so fun, Brian. Thank you so much.